What's the one thing you would never buy second-hand? Motorcycle helmet. I saw one at a pawn shop once. The left side of it looked like someone took a belt sander to it for a minute straight. Plastic was gone and the inner foam was visible and cracked apart. They wanted $40 for it. Oh, you guys wouldn't buy used single-use disposable products? Wow. I wouldn't buy a used diaper, ha 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 ha. That would be so gross. You win the internet today. Couches. I know people buy them second-hand often, but I find it's easy to conceal prior spills on certain couches. Most couches are disgusting after a few years of use. One time, my roommate had a party and someone literally shat on my couch. I had no hope of cleaning it, despite one weak attempt. I was a poor student, so I just pitched it to the curb as unattractively as possible. Wouldn't you know it, someone dumpster dived and hauled it away. Still grosses me out almost 20 years later. Bed bugs. End argument. A helmet. They can only take one good hit. Anything that has to do with safety. Yay, and every ski resort you go to rents out helmets. No clue how many times people may have fallen with them. A couch. I used to work at a pest control company, and the corny thing that brought them in was used furniture, but usually a couch. Those fucks are terrifying. They hide in tiny cracks and crevasses during the day, and then come out to feed on you at night. You don't notice until it's too late. You'll start waking up with itchy bites, see little red sprinkles in the seams of your mattress, and eventually see them. One single pregnant female on a throw pillow is all it takes. The male stabs the female in the abdomen, literally, one time, and she's pregnant for life and off to make your life miserable. Then you have to pay $2,500 for a company to treat them, and if they miss one pregnant female. My friend's parents have bed bugs right now. They've cleaned everything about 6 times now. It keeps switching between the bed and couch, so they are finally dumping the couch and going for another clean on the bed. Can confirm. Bedbugs gave me something adjacent to Pretstead. It's been several years and I still feel compelled to check the edges of the mattress with a flashlight occasionally, and God forbid I see a piece of lint moving in the fan's breeze. We treated them ourselves as much we could. The infestation was coming from another apartment. We ended up having to spray a likely unhealthy amount of bug spray, moved the bed away from the wall, bagged the mattress, made super sure that none of the blankets ever touched the ground, and poured basically an entire bag of diatomaceous earth around the perimeter of the bedroom and around. The bed still wasn't 100% effective. We broke our lease and moved. A year and a half later, I found a dead bed bug wedged in a crack in some furniture. The furniture had been spray-treated and then left in a hot storage unit for several weeks, and the bug really was dead, but that still caused a few days of paranoia. Keyboard. I've disassembled quite a few for cleaning, and they are disgusting. If I have the chance, I'd rather use my own or buy a new one. Detest the thought of using someone else's. Seconding this, I ran a build and repair service for high-end keyboards for a while. Quit in part because of the shit people sent me. I have horror stories with pictures to back them up. Clean your keyboards, folks, and try not to eat or participate in other activities at your desk. Mattress. This one for me. I could never. Mattress. I rolled the dice when I was younger and bought 2 from a really nice couple that swore they had never been used. 10 years later, still the most comfortable mattresses I've ever used, and saved me around $1,000. If they had bed bugs, I can't imagine what that would have cost. Not a gamble I'd do again. If bed bugs didn't exist, I'd totally do it again. I don't care if someone jizzed all over it. I've slept on many a couch I know has been used that way. Prosthetics. No second-hands for me. My local Goodwill sold bathing suits, used bathing suits. Used lingerie too, just the tops. Once my big sister was going to buy both but assumed they were new, but given to Goodwill, because the person who bought it ended up not liking it or something. She even asked the lady at the desk about it. When we got to the car, she found out both were stained, especially the lingerie. You can assume with what. I could never buy either of those used, especially after that. My wife sees lingerie, etc. posted for sale in our local Facebook market. There's no confusing them for new. They are open about them being used. Why you'd want to advertise what you're wearing for sex costumes, and who would buy them, I have no idea. Any ominous glowing pendant or jewellery, I'm not trying to get cursed today. Why are the top comments things people realistically wouldn't even think of buying second-hand? Tampons. Well, do. Underwear. This was my first thought, but there's actually a whole market for this type of thing. Me personally, though, that's a no-go. Socks. Growing up, I only had used underwear from Salvation Army. Also slept on the floor. Baby carrier or child seat. Only from friends where I can be sure that they are accident-free and clean. I'd say a coffin, but actually, coffins are expensive. Besides, you're dead. What does it matter if your coffin is second-hand? My answer has to be a mattress, despite them also being expensive, because you can get all types of diseases and stuff. It's incredibly dangerous. If you do buy one second-hand, I suggest getting it from somewhere trusted, and I suggest deep cleaning the mattress after you get it, because it can be really unsafe. Breast pumps. Unless it's a closed system. When mine was small, most were not closed systems, which allows aerosolized breast milk particles to get places you can't clean. FDA does not recommend it. Pacifiers. When I was pregnant, my mother-in-law gave me a plastic baggie of used pacifiers. She had bought them at a garage sale and told me they'd be fine to use if I just boiled them first. No, hard pass. They went straight in the trash when I got home. I just found out they have a lifespan too. Apparently you should replace them after a few months. Check W manufacturer, because the tips will eventually break off. I was babysitting and a toddler came over to me with a broken pacifier. He looked funny, so I swept his mouth and found the last oncombe of silicone in there. He'd just worn it down gnawing on it over time. On one hand, I think boiling them would make them safe, but on the other hand, why bother? Pacifiers aren't exactly expensive. Raspberry beret, but they're always the kind you find in a second-hand store. One thing. Earphones, underwear, shoes, toothbrush, socks, mattress. Like, I can go on, but my goodness, there's a lot. Headphones, earbuds, hell no. Sex toys would never, as who know what sort of shit on their I was in the military over a decade ago. Me and another skate were inspecting our soldiers' rooms, but he was a bit of an oddball with some strange quirks. Wasn't a very formal deal, just sort of walking through, doing a cursory check. Towards the end, sort of shooting the shit with the soldiers as we check. It was obvious guy had a clean trash bag covering up stuff in bottom of his trash can. Lift bag, and don't you know, it's a full-sized fake rubber ass. The other guy with me comes over and lifts it up, and is like, "Wowaya, check this out. Look, it's got a pussy hole and everything." The soldier says he is throwing it out because he has used it a few times without cleaning it, and I respond with beautiful while rolling my eyes. However, the other guide is fascinated with this thing. He's now fully inspecting it on the countertop, looking it over like he's a quality control inspector. You were throwing it out because it hasn't been cleaned the last couple times the guy asked. The soldier says yes, while we are kind of looking at each other like what if is going on here. The guide spends a couple more seconds looking at it, smacks the fake butt, then throws it under his arm and begins to walk out. "I'll throw it out for you. No worries, man," and he walks right out the door. I remember just standing there in shock, like did he really just do that? Then all of us bust out laughing, and I said, "I told you, man, that's one strange motherfucking dude." Craziest part was when the story got around the unit. The other skate would openly brag like he got some hidden treasure, and we were the suckers that missed out. One of the grossest but funniest things I've ever seen. Low. Twitter. Disagree. Next time it's sold, the buyer will get it at an incredible discount. Skydiving equipment to climbing equipment. Anything safety related. Skydiver here. Funnily enough, probably 80 of skydivers are using second or greater hand gear. Skydiving equipment is really expensive and built with durability and safety as the primary concerns, so it lasts for decades. Almost everyone's first rig is some 20-year-old beta that has had 5 previous owners. Earphones. I bought my son $60 Bluetooth earphones that he used a bit. A year or so later, I was in the market. He offered me his. I spent a half hour cleaning earwax out of them with rubbing alcohol. They work fine. Toothbrushes. Not a toothbrush, but I was on an Air India flight once, and in the toilet, alongside the soap, they had a bottle of mouthwash. As in, a communal bottle of mouthwash on a plane. It was half empty, blur. You haven't lived until you have used someone else's toothbrush, while it still has all the toothpaste foam on it from their mouths. It's like an indirect French kiss. You get extra points for doing it with your friend's parents, before they are done while maintaining eye contact. Condoms. Well, here, something for you then. Vietnam police seized 345,000 used condoms that were sold as new. Great. My most upvoted comment on Reddit is about recycling used condoms. A Wesson. My mom worked for the children's division and told me a story about two boys, 16-ish years old, who went on a double date. They ended up both having sex with their respective girlfriends in the car. Only one of them brought condom. Wanting to be safe, the one friend in the back asked to use the condom after his friend was done with it and turned it inside out. As you can imagine, backseat's girlfriend got pregnant with front seat friend. My mum always told us this story as a teachable moment, like I planned on using a buddy's used condom low. Men's PJ pants. My husband started to look at some and I said, nope. No way. Some men wear PJ pants all night and all day with no underwear for days at a time. Like the same pair for multiple days of sitting around the house not showering. Also not to mention teenage boys. I can't get myself to let my husband buy used ones. It grosses me out. A microphone. I am a host at a radio show, and I cringe every time I think about how many people have spit in that thing. I never understood the used tire market. I know they're expensive, but for something that literally separates you from a 17th fiery death, I'd rather make sure I'm getting ones that are new. A lot of times the used tires are someone buys a brand new truck but wants more aggressive tires put on right away, so they drove maybe 500 miles, got the new tires and traded the old ones in. So yes, they are used but barley. Bed sheets. No thanks. Hard pass. We don't even bother trying to give them away to other people. Best we can do is donate to animal shelters, so the furry ones have something soft to snuggle around it. Fleshlight. Coward. Coward. Toilet paper.